Fusing his Jamaican grandma's cooking with his British mom's culinary style, the head chef at Copper and Ink is wowing Southeast Londoners with his dishes. Robert Parks zooms in now from East London to talk to us. Good morning to you, mate. Oh, what time is it there?
Good morning or good afternoon as it is here. It's just tipped over 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, shouldn't you be at work?
Thankfully, the restaurant's shut on Mondays and it allows me to be here with you.
Awesome. So your story is quite interesting. First of all, tell me a little bit about that dynamic, right? Grandma, mommy, daddy, kitchen, food, bring a together of culture. But mom kind of had to learn the ropes, no? So tell me a little bit about that story. It's very entertaining.
That's right. Yeah. So my grandma, obviously proud Jamaican woman, sadly not with us any longer, but obviously bringing that wonderful Jamaican food that you're all familiar with, but on these shores, doesn't get the respect or awareness that it deserves. But being brought up with all of those flavors meant that when my mum had to sort of take over the reins of making sure that we still had that Jamaican influence in our cuisine after my grandma passed, had to learn a lot of the recipes, and she's now a hell of a good Jamaican cook.
So that is a Jamaican?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's Jamaican, actually born over here, but to Jamaican parents.
And dad cannot cook?
Can't cook a lick.
But he can surely eat it up, right?
Yeah, oh, you bet.
So where did you get the zest and the zeal to get into the kitchen?
It's a good question. I'd say both sides of my family are obsessed with food, and that helps a lot. And from a young age, for me, that was it. I was completely obsessed with food. I actually studied English at university because I didn't know what to do. But I finished that and applied for, we've got a television show over here called MasterChef.
Yes.
Don't know if you're aware of it, but
yes.
Ended up going on that and haven't looked back. I've had a career in the kitchen and love being able to draw influences from all aspects of my life and my experiences, and definitely try and bring some Caribbean flavors to the table.
Okay, so tell us about that journey on that show. How did that go? And how much of a boost was it to your career?
It was incredible. I was fresh out of university and didn't know what I wanted to do. Just knew that I loved cooking, and I didn't take it too seriously, just made sure that I enjoyed myself and just tried my hardest. Got through to the semi-finals, and it was good enough to get me in the door of a professional restaurant at quite a high end in London. And once you start working in kitchens, you never get the opportunity to stop. It just gets swept away with the tide. And years later, I've honed my craft, and it's taken a bit of time, but happy with what we're putting out at Copper and Ink now. And I think you're seeing some of that on the screen at the moment. So hopefully
looks delicious.
You guys, thank you.
I can smell it. But you're saying in your industry, black chefs are few and far between. So has it been a bit of a struggle? I mean, your foot is in the door now. So that's good, but generally, is there a struggle to have people who look like you end up in a position like yours?
I think there is. It tends to be the case that black chefs that do achieve notoriety over here, and there are some, are generally cooking quite classical French food or European style food, not in a dissimilar way to the sort of stuff that we cook at Copper and Ink. But it would be lovely to see someone really take Caribbean cuisine and run with it at quite a high end, and sort of bring more attention to how elevated a cuisine it can be. Saying that, I've never experienced any sort of limit to the levels that I can achieve in the kitchen because of my race. So I really think if someone were to take the opportunity to run with Caribbean cuisine, the customers would come in through the door.
Do you have any aspirations of being the one to do that one day?
It's tough. I mean, at the moment, I'm still finding my feet, running my own kitchen and having control over the food and the output. And I do think that I'd have to do a lot more research and a deep dive, and maybe even move over to Jamaica for a little bit and really sort of get myself entrenched in the cuisine, because you need to do it justice. You know, you wouldn't want to do half a job.
Right. Right. I mean, a lot of people hear about chefs and think you guys just go in the kitchen and whip stuff up, but it's really about a true representation of the culture, right? Which is why the immersion is so important.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that's what's next for you, is kind of trying to just find your feet running your kitchen, and then I guess you can look to the future from there.
Exactly. I'd like to think the sky's the limit for us at Copper and Ink. You know, we've got a great local clientele of customers that return. We change the menu every month, so we try and keep it fresh and exciting and interesting. And also that gives us an opportunity to see what works, see what doesn't, and really provide people the opportunity to taste food from a multitude of cuisines, always with the same quality and trying to put out delicious food.
Okay, so that being said, what is your favorite Jamaican food to prepare, and what is your favorite Jamaican food to consume?
So it's interesting that you break that down into two different parts. I reckon I absolutely love jerk chicken, rice and peas. I know it sounds cliche and sort of everyone's favorite. I love to prepare that. I prepare that more than anything else. And my girlfriend, who's British, that's her favorite thing to eat, full stop. So that's always popular in my household. Then the things that I love to eat are generally the things that I don't cook so much at home. I would say brown stewed chicken, oxtail.
Hey, I was listening for the oxtail. If you never said oxtail, I would say,
exactly.
What's going on? Great.
Exactly. No. Got to love the oxtail, and stamp and go as well. Saltfish fritters for me. I mean, that's the one that my mum absolutely. She's got that nailed on. So, mum, stamp and go. Love that.
All right. I'm going to ask you to do something for me before we wrap. I'm going to wrap now, Robert. But say after me: saltfish.
Saltfish.
Flitters.
Flitters.
Yeah. You can't, you know, you're talking about, you can't say saltfish fritters. I mean, you can, but it's not the same, you know what I mean? So when you talk about it again, it has to be saltfish flitters.
Absolutely. I'll keep cooking up them saltfish fritters. Thank you so much, Simone. It's been a pleasure.
Gosh, thanks so much, Robert. All the best to you. We hope your career just takes off and goes exactly where you want it to in your heart, because we know food is a heart thing. So we appreciate it. Thanks for checking in. Head chef at Copper and Ink in South East London, Robert Parks, joining us this morning. And we top things off with something sweet. It's not dessert, but it will definitely do. Please stay with us.